Hello. Um, Good evening, all. Today is another day for our class. So, as I promised you, as at yesterday, I'll be looking at Esters. That is esterification reaction. Esterification reaction. So, most students normally find it difficult to write, not only write, give name to organic compound that undergo esterification reaction. As a matter of fact, esterification reaction simply is a process whereby an alcohol in the presence of mineral acid, the mineral acid H2SO4, that's sulfuric acid, react with and a carboxylic acid to form a sweet smelling substance called esters. During the process of esterification reaction, the acid in question, sulfuric acid, acts as a catalyst to remove the water molecules. As such, for every esterification reaction, there is removal of moles of water molecules. I would say, by highlighting a typical example, if you have an organic compound, let's take the first member, ethanol, that is CH3, CH2, OH, reacting with CH3, COOH, that is ethanoic acid, in the presence of a mineral acid, that is tetraoxide sulfur 6, it will give you CH3, COO, CH2, CH3 plus water molecules. That is what it will give you. And as such, the rules for naming, if you look at this, let me show what I just wrote, because I don't have a board yet, but you can support the ministry by buying me a board. I'm only coming up. So we have this. Look at it. Look at this. That is when an alcohol, example of the alcohol is ethanol reacting with ethanoic acid in the presence of mineral acid H2SO4, it will give you an esters. That is that compound that you have seen plus water molecules. Now, if you look at it very, very well, we'll now look at how do you name this compound? How do you name this compound? So I'll be highlighting how you can possibly give the name. You can possibly give the name to this compound by following the simple rules. And the rules is, let me try to stand this. So the first thing which you have to do is, I believe you can see it right there. Okay, have you seen this? This CH2CH3 came from this. So During the process where ethanol will be reacting with ethanoic acid, this OH would homolytically leave, detach off, and get attached with this man here. This part will leave and join with this to give you this water molecule, if you've seen that. And this particular place will come here, as you can see, and join to this place. So that is when you are seeing this particular part joining to this particular part. And when you are naming it, how you are supposed to name it, you follow the same method of naming. Now, do not forget that at this point that you are noticing this, you will name this one first. Do not forget, and if you have CH3, of course, this is your ethane. So when ethane loses one hydrogen, the name is sent to ethyl, right? So as you can see, one hydrogen is gone here. Have you seen that? So the name now will be, the name for that compound will be ethyl ethanoate. Ethyl ethanoate. Have you seen it? Ethyl, that is the name for this compound. Ethyl ethanoate and water molecule. This is the process of esterification. I must say that if by any means you have an attachment, if you have an attachment that is attached to maybe this particular group, which I will highlight an example in the next class for simplicity. If you have an attachment, in most cases, when the reaction, it comes with some series of attachments. Sometimes you may have the amide functional group, you may have the cyano functional group, and also you may have the alkyl functional group, as the case may be. But don't be confused. Anytime you're having that, do not forget the first rules, that you follow alphabetical order in terms of representation when you have two different substituents being attached, and you also follow the longest possible continuous chain and make it your parent hydrocarbon. With that, you'll be good to go. So the framework for this is for you to know that when alcohol reacts with an alkanoic acid in the presence of a mineral acid, that is H2SO4, this must give you a sweet smelling substance called esters. Some people call it ether, some people call it esters. Okay, so with this, you can possibly be able to write the reactions involving esterification. It's the most simplest kind of reaction. But in next class, I don't want to bore you with much structure. Next class, I want to bring stuff that are very, very cumbersome, like structures that are a little bit brainstorming, something that can get you confused, so that along the line you get understanding. That is how I'll be introducing substituents, and also try to get you understand how you can play around in the naming. At this point in time, I want you to look at this was for a two-membered carbon atom. So what if we are having a three-membered carbon atom? It doesn't matter what kind of member you're having. For instance, I'm having CH3, CH2, CH2, OH, reacting with CH3, CH2, COOH. So this is going to happen in the presence of, don't forget, H2SO4, H2SO4, mineral acid. So in the presence of H2SO4, what product will you get? It's as simple as, don't forget, this OH here will leave and this one will leave. That means you're already having your what? Your water molecules, right? And this particular CH2 will get attached to this end. Don't forget there are three carbon atoms here. Therefore, we are looking at now the third member in the alkane homologous series, the third member. So now you will be having, I'll first and foremost write this parent compound, CH3, CH3, CH2, COO, and then you bring this one, not this one first, this one. You write CH2, CH2, and CH3 plus your water molecules. If you have seen that very, very well, that is, I'm talking about this. Forget about that one. Yeah, don't let me remove this. Okay, if you have seen this very clearly, you agree with me. We have three carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3. So the rule says I will name this first before the parent compound. Do not forget. So this is water molecule, and as such you have this. So the name will be propyl 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Have you seen that? Three carbon atom. Three carbon atom is coming here, and three carbon atom, 1, 2, 3. So this is propyl propanoic acid. Sorry, propyl propanoate. Sorry, you'll be having propyl propanoate. You'll be having propyl propanoate plus water molecules. Now for WAEC students, or maybe students who are writing JAM, these people are always very, very funny, but never get confused. Anytime you notice this particular question, I want you to recall. This is the IUPAC name, propyl propanoate. Propyl propanoate. An ester, sweet smelling substance. And sweet smelling substance, it smells very nice. Anytime you want to prepare an ester in the lab, it's always a sweet smelling substance. Now look at the compound here. This reacting with this CH3, CH2, CHOH, that is propanol, reacting with this, reacting with propanoic acid. This is a carboxylic group reacting with this in the presence of this mineral acid. The mineral acid now is acting as a dehydrating agent. That is a function. In most cases, JAM will ask you, what is the function of H2SO4 in the reaction? What is the function of H2SO4 in the reaction? It's acting as a dehydrating agent. It's removing the water from the system. So at this point in time, this one will now detach HOH, and this will come and give you water molecule, and this one will come and cleave to this end. Please do not carry CH3 and write here. Students, my students, I know you are listening. Don't carry this and write here. That will be wrong. It is this CH2 that will come at the end of this O, this oxygen. So you have this, this, and this. And do not miss out the number of carbon atoms that was here previously. So with that, the name goes propyl propanoate plus water molecules. So as the case may be, most times you will notice that the examiner will ask you, um, they will just put a question and say, if sample X reacts with sample B, and they give you the ratio without mentioning the sample. Or maybe they say that sample X reacts with a carboxylic acid to give you a sweet smelling substance. Name sample X. That is an alternative to practical question. They've not told you what sample X is, but they just say if you react sample X with a carboxylic acid, maybe they give you a name of the carboxylic acid, a sweet smelling substance will be formed. They now ask you which group does sample X fall in. And of course, you should know that the answer is what? And alcoholic functional group. It's come from an alcohol and an alkanols family. If it comes from an alkanols family, there are cases that they will ask you, mention the exact is it methanol, is it ethanol? As they say, you need to be precise. At that point in time, reaction will be put in place, and they will give you the product. At this point, they will give you the product. Maybe they say sample X plus maybe ethanoic acid. Like what I showed you, they will not give you ethanol, but they will give you the carboxylic acid, let's say ethanoic acid, and they will put X there, but they will give you the product. It's just for you to know. Look at where the attachment was. What I mean is that, let me show you what I'm talking about. For instance, they gave you this and they label this X. So when they say that when this X, consider the reaction above, when this X reacted with this, they may put here Y. They says, and they give you these products. Maybe they label this X, and maybe Z. They ask you, you should furnish X, Y, Z, something like that. So it is your place to know that if this was reacting with X, that X is coming from this, that would be CH3, CH2, CH2OH. And that since this is a esterification reaction, a mineral acid H2SO4 is involved. And of course, there will be water liberation of water molecules. So that is how I'm gonna look for a question. I have so many of them. For this organic chemistry, I think I have about 3,000 questions under JAM, solved questions under JAM, that if a student pass through that, go through all those questions, the person will be ripe for organic question. At this point in time, I want to ask if there is any question, any comment. Madam Glorious, I can see you there. Is there any other person that need more explanation, or maybe you like kind of contribution? But do well to subscribe to the channel and click the subscription button. Very, very important for more updates on organic synthesis. And as such, I will be tomorrow we will be having class with my students on this particular topic. That's why I'm coming on air to explain this for any of them that is on air, so that tomorrow class will be very, very easy. We do this all the time for my students so that they can understand. Apart from standing in the classroom and explaining, you need to also come up in this particular aspect. I don't know if there is any question, but if there is no question, I will drop a question for you. You know that? I'll drop a question for you. You cannot go like that now. I will drop one question for you, very simple, and I need an answer. Okay. The first person to answer, I just want to give me the name. Just type the name as you, for instance, the founder TV have seen you there. Welcome, you are welcome. She mentioned water molecules. That is as one of the products in the esterification reaction. That means she's following up very well. I want to say, if you have butanol reacting with ethanoic acid in the presence of a mineral acid. If you have butanol reacting with ethanoic acid, what will be the IUPAC name for that particular esters? What will be the IUPAC name? Madam Glorious, what will be the answer? Okay, as you are waiting for them, you can send the answer to me on my WhatsApp number. You can send it through my WhatsApp number 08065139451. I take that again, 08065139451. That is my WhatsApp number. You can send it directly to me, and if you have any confusion, I can explain for that. The number again is 08065139451. And for Glorious Amanda, I will need the answer. You can send it to me also, maybe privately, so that I can see how you understand what I just explained. Once again, I want to wish you guys a fantabulous night. Sleep sound. Bye. See you again next day in organic chemistry class. Bye.